My name is Ralph Red Fox. My Indian name is Mayamyest. An interpretation of that is omnipresent. Sort of part of my name and all. But Ralph and I guess in European Italian is the gathering of the wolves or something in that. But, that was my understanding anyway. And I thought maybe this afternoon I'm going to be able to, maybe talk about myself, talk about, many things that I have experienced around the globe, and I've gone to many cultures, and in many cases I've gone to their ceremonies. So I guess we will talk about that today. And I find in most of the other cultures, or normally, and I guess maybe I always think it's about 100% people to people talk. It has very little to do with the Creator's creation. We're busy, confronting ourselves in many different ways. We suffer a lot because we disagree on these beliefs. I have witnessed these, and in the school that I've gone to, the boarding school, that was my first experience to the Western world. And what the Western world demanded of me was to, I guess not just maybe change my attitude toward my culture and accept the Western culture as the I guess, we go to church, twice a week, and we are talking to teachers, and all that, was aligned to changing my culture. And in that, you believe that start to believe that there is one origin of the belief. I haven't been convinced yet. For one reason is that in Western culture we have two worlds that seems to be. We have a human culture that is, discussed, and we a lot of disturbance about that, and then another one, the rest of the creation. Where is the rest of that creation? How do we treat, the grass, the flower? How do we look at it? And, what is our attitude toward the Creator's creation? And I talk a lot about that. Where are we in terms of the Creator's, creation? At night time, my grandfather used to go out. We go out and we look at stars. And he talk about stars in different ways. So I guess I began to understand what my grandfather used to say about the universe. All the worlds above us, he'd say. So, he didn't say all the stars, or, Hutuk. It's a star, but what goes around the star is the existing worlds that are there. It talks about those. And there's many stories about star people coming from different parts of the universe. And we have many stories about that. So there are many things that I think one ought to, anyhow, I ought to, maybe translate or make sure that my children and my grandchildren understand what I believe in. And it's a hard struggle when you are talking about, tradition, when you're talking about belief, when there is so much power in economics and in the machines. I'm talking to a machine, and that's a lot of that is, influences our lives. You know, whatever is presented to young people and how they react to that presentation is important. Anyhow, in my belief. So when we talk to young people, it is you listen and you do. Becomes one thing, becomes you in terms of cultural relationship. So if I try and do that with the young people, and then a lot of times I fail, and many times there's that frustration because of those other interests, so demand more of their lives than the future of their lives. So it's a struggle to attempt to bring beliefs to young people. So I sort of in a few years back, I sort of stepped away from a traditional type of belief that exists in Indian country, and that's what is real strong in my observation. Different cultures now it enters the Western culture, and that's Sundance. How do we treat Sundance? What does it bring to individual and the cultures, communities that they come? How do they, and why is these ceremonies for individual or for group? And we look at all the ceremonies that are held in the Indian communities, and we find, anyhow, I look at it as we are still suffering. We suffer a lot. What is causing that? Well, people say, okay, it's the white word, and this machines here, and all different things that come to the arguments. So anyhow, I don't quite follow that rationale. I think in many cases around the world, in each cultural beliefs, we sort of block our time in several ways. So one block, for instance, in Western culture, 2 hours, Sunday, we become very strong ceremonial person. And then we wait till next week, and then we become again. And between that is, gosh, what is happening to the community, to young people. And it's distressful in my belief. And I think a lot. What is it that is needed? I see a lot of Indian people moving to urban areas and hoping and looking for better way, or escaping, or moving away from there to not really change their lives. You come to any urban community, talk to Indian, and you are talking to reservation people. When do we get rid of this reservation concept for our lives, individual lives, group lives, community lives? When do we begin to think of ourselves as a human? Many years ago, my grandfather, we went up on a hill. He sat there, and he was a sweet medicine chief. And he says, Miami, yes, there's hard times coming. Many suffering. Because we put you there. We have taken everything, and in its place we have set up or accept a different lodge. We cannot look or see anything beyond this lodge. Until such time, one day, we're going to be able to do that. And I always wonder, and I always, kind of think, what did the elders say? What did they do when a horse came to their community? What was the stress there? How did, what sort of changes that was made? What did they do? And I've asked many elders about that, and they said, well, the horse came, and it was a blessing to our people. So we had ceremony, and here comes the horse medicine. The horse became part of our culture. And I don't see that happening today. There's no horse running around. But in its place, there is education. And I have talked many about education. Learning about the world activities, being part of that, able to contribute, able to receive many things. And I've talked to the old people, the elders. If you want your children running out there playing, 1,000 years today, talking Cheyenne, maintaining the belief that we have today, we require education that is going to allow us to begin that process. We learn about education. And at that time I spoke about junior college, talked about junior college to the elders. And I told them, here is a school, here is an institution that's going to allow you to be the instructors. You take that, take the curriculum, examine it, mold it, train people that's going to disseminate that information. See that the young people are learning about their lives, about their past, about their future, molding it to their way of life, allowing them to be part of the world community, to be able to stand up and say, here I am. These are the things. These are the things that I think will make difference to our world relationship in relation to ourselves and the creation. How we're going to be able to, how do we focus? We fly to moon, and we orbit the moon, and we visit the different planets now. Where is our focus? We're going to achieve for what reason? And those are many things that I always think about, and how do we begin that process? And I think my thinking is that it's education and a guide, a good guide that's going to allow us to be able to walk the streets. A successful street. And we have a gathering here. I think maybe it is the beginning of many people coming together, learning about people, learning about themselves maybe. And I've talked to many people. When you get up in the morning, have a full-length mirror. Gosh, take a look at yourself. That's who you are. Then you proceed to change that. Either to be a person that's going to challenge the community, or be part of that community, or lead the community in a way that is going to bring good things to the community. It is it has to be your belief. It is you that makes up that focus. There's so much information that's coming to us in our travels, in our, communications, in our way of focusing on different things in many different ways in one day. And where is our focus? Why in the hell are we here? Why? We are caretakers. This is why we are here. We are caretakers, part of this universe. And I'll mention a little bit about my grandfather, about the universe. His perception of the universe places himself on earth here in relation to the universe. And I believe that we need to define ourselves. And we need to take a look at other worlds. We see many things in our culture. Normally we used to, now we don't see them anymore. Rarely see them. But there was communications at one time between people and the other worlds. To what extent, I don't know, but they brought many things to us. And I don't know, I'm in the mud, down to the waist, and doggone, can I move forward or backwards or sideways? How far can I see? And there's a little hill around this mud hole, and I can't see beyond the hill. Where in the hell am I? So I find myself in a sort of situation. So I think thinking of young people and thinking of, present world, thinking of futures, maybe some of those things I have discussed here. And maybe one day we'll sit down and talk about individual things that we ought to be doing. My belief. And maybe we'll talk again one day.